Hey everybody, welcome to the Dad Challenge podcast. It is Full Lid Fridays. I'm excited about this little new thing I've been doing because I'm recapping what happened during the week, things that went down. I might read some of your comments, some of your concerns, and talk about kind of overall what's been going on and what's coming up. And I'm very excited about this week because a few things went down this week, bad and good. And I just want to kind of address a couple of things, and definitely I spilled a whole thing of apple juice here, so I'm going to clean that up. I'm a loser. Oh, and there's ice. That's good. First, before we get started, I have a confession to make. I am a huge fan of Chick-fil-A and like ride or die Chick-fil-A because we didn't really have it here. And so whenever I went to the States, I got some Chick-fil-A and I was like, I love it. But oh my gosh, the Popeyes chicken sandwich came out in Canada. I don't know if I'm going to get struck by lightning or whatever, but the Popeyes chicken sandwich is the superior sandwich of all chicken sandwiches. I didn't think I was going to say that. I didn't think I was just going to come out and just like throw that at you. Like, I didn't think that was just going to be today, but I ate one and I'm like, it's undeniably better than Chick-fil-A. Like it's not even in the same playing field. Although I will stand that Chick-fil-A's nuggets are the best of all nuggets in the world. And come at me. But the Popeyes chicken sandwich was unbelievable. Like, big ass piece of chicken in there. You take it, it's like the juicy. Yes. So yeah, if I lose followers because of that, I get it. But it's my confession today. So that's Confession Full Lid Fridays. We're going to move right on to a few things that are happening in the world of tech because I enjoy tech. You guys know I have a Tesla. I have many things technical around me all the time. I am a tech guru. I love troubleshooting. I love helping people with tech. I love doing and understanding new tech. And California just released this thing that said, we're going to go all full electric by 2035. And I've been seeing back and forthing about this because, you know, it does get political because anything a Democrat says, a Republican's going to hate. Anything a Republican say, a Democrat's going to hate. But I got to be here, right? I, as you know, I sit politically right in the center. This is a really good thing. And the people who are against this, I just want you to go drive a Tesla just for 5 minutes. For 5 minutes. I don't understand why anybody's against amazing vehicles anyway. To me, is it because it takes jobs? Maybe there's because it takes jobs away from the oil industry. I don't know. But this, I think even 2035 is too late, to be honest with you. Like going full electric, not for the environment. Like I'm not a crunchy person who cares about the environment. Like, not really. Like, someday I will admit to you something that I admitted on my podcast once. If you can go find it, you can go find it. But I didn't buy the Tesla for the environment. Okay, it's just not. It's not like I don't care. It's just I live in Canada. There's like 4 trillion trees here. We're good. So our like output of like CO2 into the atmosphere is literally 0.0000007 of the entire world. And so we're good up here. California may be a little different, and everybody out there where there's more populated, of course it's different. But you know we're good here. So anyway, I say that because the vehicle is actually incredible. And it could be argued that even harvesting the shit you need for the batteries isn't good for the environment. So we can go all day long about the environment, but that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the autonomous smart vehicles that are hitting the road. Now, a couple arguments could be made that, well, someone's going to hack them and the whole world will explode. Perhaps, but I doubt it. But if you've just driven the Tesla itself or any electric vehicle, I drove the Porsche Taycan the other day and I'm like just mind blown. Get your ass into an electric vehicle and tell me you don't want all of them to be that way. I'm just saying they're way more powerful. They're way more intelligent. They're way more safe than the Tesla Model Y is the safest car on the road by far, unless you're driving a bubble. I mean, it's the safest vehicle. So there's a whole bunch of reasons you should go electric. Partly because you can save money on fuel, but you know the argument can be made that it's going to pull way more electricity off the grid. But if you think about the way that the battery tech is going in Tesla world, that they put the power back into the grid. So we can argue all day about it. I'm just saying the electric car's coming 2035, too late. I think go 10 years because I still think that Ford and all these major car manufacturers are not taking electric cars seriously. Do me a favor, go to any car dealership, ask them about electric cars. They know zero about electric cars. Most of them, they don't know anything about electric cars. They don't know how they work. They don't know anything about the range and all this stuff. And what kilowatt hours means, they know nothing about it because they don't take it seriously. They're only forced to do it. So the fact that California is forcing manufacturers to make electric cars shouldn't be a thing, but it is. And I just want you to just sit in one and go drive. Doesn't have to be a Tesla. It could be any electric car. Go drive an electric car and tell me you're not in love as soon as you put your foot on that gas. People who love performance, electric is better. It's way more. That Porsche Taycan I drove had 750 something horsepower. Like, just saying, you can't to get that in the same vehicle in an ICE vehicle, an internal combustion engine vehicle. That's way more expensive. And as soon as you go 0 to 100 in one of those cars, it costs you $45 because you're just eating gas on those big motors. So I'm just saying, go try it. Don't knock it till you try it. I'm just saying, just on the idea of safety, smart vehicles, and autonomous driving that's coming out in the next 10 plus years, electric is the way to go. It just really is. Like when you get in my Tesla and I let it self-drive me places, it's like, I'm never going backwards now. I feel like a peasant when I step into my other vehicles. I had to drive my Ford yesterday because my Tesla had to get repaired. One of the little things fell out of it, little sensor fell into it. And I was like, I feel like a peasant driving this car. Like I'm looking around at people, judging them. I'm like, why do we drive these vehicles? Anyway, I'm just saying, go drive one and then tell me what you think. If you can go drive an electric car like a Tesla and come back to me and say you didn't like it, you probably also eat raisins. So, I mean, that's kind of where that kind of sits. So anyway, that's my take on the tech world this week, which is electric cars are going to be, Tesla. And Tesla came out with a $25,000 concept car, which, I mean, is going to be $25,000. No, it's probably like $35,000. So we know that he says that, and then it always ends up being way more than we thought. In Canada, that's like $45,000. So we're never going to get to see a $25,000 electric Tesla, I don't think. But at least Elon is like about, he's about profit. He's one of the richest men in the world, but he's also about making cars affordable for everybody with luxury. That's what I'm saying. I have the poor man's Tesla. I call it the poor man's Tesla because it's the cheapest one you could buy. You get the rebate from the government and everything else, and it still feels like super luxury. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say. And if you buy a Tesla, please use my code. Reach out to me and I'll give you my code, and we each get things and stuff. We're also stepping into the world of COVID. Like it's stepping up here in Canada. I don't know about the US. I think so. School's back now. And so, everything that's happening with it, it's definitely ramping up a little bit. Not as much as it was before, but my prime minister came out with his canned statement. And look, I get that people like him. And I've always said this. He wasn't ready. And I feel like he was just pushed into this role and doesn't want to be there at all. And when he reads these statements, he sounds like he's reading it on a radio commercial. It's not genuine to me. There's no realness in anything he says. It's very, very annoying. Anyway, he came out and said a whole bunch of things about stuff, and COVID's going to shut down everything again. It's going to be worse in the winter than it was in the spring when it first hit up, and we're not going to have Thanksgiving and all this stuff. And I'm just at this point, I'm like, figure this out. Because if the idea was to flatten the curve, we did that, right? Then the goalposts moved to, no, we want to make sure that no one ever gets sick from COVID. It's just not going to happen. There's no such thing as living in this world without risk. And so what I think we need to do, and I could be wrong about this, maybe Dr. Fauci will come and Fauci will come through that door and kick me in the face, is that just make sure the vulnerable population is where they need to be, safe away from the rest of the population. Let the world go about their business, let herd immunity take place, and let's move on. That's all I'm saying. And I will probably be ratioed for that. But I'm just, at some point, we got to get back to the world. We cannot hide forever. I know at least a few people who if they can't send their kids to school, they can't work, and then they're broke forever. And our little CERB, what we called CERB, is the money that you get from government. It's gone. So I don't know what you want to tell these people who need to go to work and need school so that they can go to work. I mean, what do you say to these people? What do you say to the people who have small businesses that have shut down? I think 30,000 restaurants or something in our area are gone forever. Like, that's people's livelihoods. So, you can come at me and say, well, you're worried about money over lives. I'm just like, both count, because that ends up being bad too. Like isolation and my kids being sad about not being able to see friends. Like this is more than just being sick from COVID. This is like psychological and everything else. And I'm not an anti-masker. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm pro all that to help to do what I want to do. But people, please stop being dumb. There's also this other side of people who are having parties, and first thing they do when they go to universities have giant orgies and parties, and they all get sick. How dumb are students? Like, we know what they're dumb, and they get the vote. So I'm just saying, if people just didn't do the crazy things, I think we'd be okay. And you can talk about all the, the rallies that Trump has, and that's wrong. Yes, they shouldn't be there without masks, and it's so dumb. And people who are anti-mask, to me, are just like, I don't understand this thing where they're like, the government's forcing you to wear a mask, and I'm not going to do that. Government forced you to wear a seatbelt. Government forced you to pay taxes. Government has tons of things they force you to do. Why is this the thing you're going to die on a hill over? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, if it makes people feel good around, if it makes people feel safer around you, or it does do things that it says it's going to do the thing. Like, it's human decency at this point. It's not really political. Just be human. You still get all the rights that you've had before, even if you have to wear a mask. Okay? It's these stores that are telling you to do it, and they're private. They can tell you to wear a mask or get out. It's not your alienable right to walk into a public store or into a private business and say, I'm not wearing a mask. It's not your right. It's their right to say you can't shop here, and it's your right not to spend your money there for sure, right? But it's more about the people around you. And that's what today's episode's kind of going to shift into. A little bit more about like, let's be better at being people, specifically myself. That leads me into the segment called I Told Her So.
Not the kind of person to say I told her so, but you know what? I told her so. I told her so.
And this I Told Her So is for me. I told her so myself. I made this video and someone called me out in an email and said, look, you're being drama baited. And watch this video about this guy who came out with this thing that said, you know, don't be drama baited. And then it was my video. I'm like, did you mean to send me my video? I'm like, oh, you did. I get it. And so I hate to say I told her so, me, but I effing told her so. Stop being drama baited. And I came out this week with in defense of Sophie and these people who are just absolutely turning this into a major dumpster fire of T Channel making tons of money, and then a T Channel called me out and said, you know, the lawyer said you lied, so I felt like I needed to come out and say I'm not a liar, and you know, I felt like I was justified in that, and you know, maybe I was to a degree. Maybe I shouldn't have come out in such harsh defense, I guess. And then what I did was I sat on that chat and I told everybody, let's draw the line in the sand. Who believes Sophie? Who doesn't believe Sophie? And, you know, everybody was like, yes. And like 3 people said no. And, you know, and people called me out on that. And maybe for good reason. Maybe I shouldn't have been so rude about it. Sure. But when I get passionate about things that hit close to home for me, you guys know that. Like, you know, I was abused when I was young. There has been that type of abuse in my family. And I hate exploitation of kids. And I hate and in this new world of kids not being believed, because I wasn't believed when I was young, okay? I reached out to teachers. I reached out to people that I trusted, and nobody ever helped me. And then it just became normal for me. I thought, well, that must be normal then. And I lived in this world of abuse and abandonment, and that was normal for me. It ended up being like, okay, if the adults say that it is cool, that no one's going to help me, then I must be overreacting. That's the danger here. So that's why I get so upset about this when people are just using it for their own good anyway. Like, they're also monetizing it, making money off it. And if you don't think that's the truth, that's the absolute utter truth. And I'm not throwing shade at you for doing that. Like, people who get upset at YouTubers for making money at what they do, there's also an argument to be made that that's kind of what they do. But if you're taking the wrong side, if you're victim blaming to make money, that sometimes is why this gets so divisive, right? It's so divisive because of that one major thing. But yes, I have interjected my own story into this, and that is my bias showing, and that isn't really fair to everybody who has a good valid point on both sides. So the I told her so today is I told her so. I should not have been drama baited, and I will no longer be drama baited. Like, you guys can even, you know, you can call my wife whatever you want. I decided that anybody can come out after me and say whatever they please, because that world, as the more I see it, the more I enter into it, the more I watch it from the outside, the more I feel sorry for everybody in that world. The more I feel like, that's just that you live your life. Every day you wake up, you get on Facebook and you go to these groups, and you go to these justice groups, and you go to these channels, and you can't wait for the next piece of juicy, like, comeback or whatever it is. And think about that. That's going to be a referendum on your own mind, body, and soul. If that's what you enjoy, you need to find something else to enjoy. You need to stop doing that. If you immerse yourself completely in drama all the time, and that's all you talk about to your friends, it's almost like being in an MLM. You can't stop talking about it to everybody else. Nobody wants to hear from you anymore. You are literally the person in your group that people just like, oh, she's crazy or he's crazy. Don't listen. And they're always talking about conspiracy theories. They're always talking about this next piece of drama. What happens is you alienate yourself from the rest of the world. And I have been doing that. I've been alienating some people that have been following me for a while by stepping into this drama world. And so I told her so myself. I effing told her so. And so I no longer will be going, I don't care, again, what everybody says, you can go for it. I also don't think I'm going to step into any more #justice fours. Because what ends up happening in #justice fours, and this is a new thing that's kind of been going on. Sophie's not the first thing this has happened to. There's all now these #justice fours everywhere, where everybody's putting out their kids, it's generally for kids, putting out their kids' stories, private lives, and everything else to get justice for, or to put people on their side. It's always going to be about sides, right? And I will leave this here. I will always land on the side of believe the victim, believe the child. I will. I'm kind of done with justice for her. So if you reach out to me and say this needs to be covered, this needs to be covered, unless it's absolutely like undeniably I need to talk about this justice for, I'm no longer doing justice for us. Like, I'm just done with it. Justice for H and the Micah and James story, I'm not going to stop that. That's just nothing is going to stop me until Stauffer Garage is done. Nothing will stop me there. Because if we stop talking about this, like, it's kind of dying down right now, it really is. And so I got to do a weekly video soon about it, just to keep it in the forefront, because she's going to be like, okay, it's died off. It's time to come back. It's time to come do something else. And we cannot let that happen. We cannot let that happen. So, but from this point forward, the things that I'm going to talk about are, I will always talk about exploitation of children. I will always call that out, but I'm no longer going to take like these little mini justice for's court cases and all the things that are going on and are being fought at the moment until after. Like, we need to let due process happen. And I think the rule of thumb from this point forward is going to be like, if neither side has proof, if I can't give you definitive proof or receipts of anything, then I shouldn't be talking about it. And so the Sophie thing, I'm not apologizing for that at all. I do still stand with Sophie. I still believe her. And when this whole thing comes out at the end, you know, maybe we'll recap it and say, here's what we learned from this. Here's what I shouldn't have done. Here's what I'm glad we did say. Here are some things that we can learn from this. Being human is one of the biggest parts of this whole thing that we all sometimes miss. And when you're out there listening to debates on YouTube from people calling out other people and doing all this stuff, you're just there for the juicy gossip. And it doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help you either. It's literally mentally exhausting to live in that world. I felt like I was being justified and I came out pretty harshly. I don't apologize for it because I do believe I stand on everything I say. If I ever have to apologize for something, I absolutely sat back and thought about that for a couple of days and said, yeah, I shit the bed on that one. So I had to apologize to Michael because I felt like I was too harsh on him about, recording instead of helping. And so I thought about that for days and then I came out and apologized. Even in the end, if he's wrong, right? Even if it comes out that he's this mastermind behind all this crazy, I think you guys are giving, like, Michael's a nice guy and I really enjoy talking to him and we have had a great conversation, but you're literally making this guy out to be this like evil genius of crazy brilliance. And I'm not saying that he's not brilliant or smart or anything. I'm just saying that you have to take some serious mental gymnastics to land in some of the places that you guys are landing on. And so this is where I'll stay on this. And this is the last thing I'm going to say on this thing until it's all over, until the courts have decided, until all the proof comes out and all the receipts come out. Is I'm going to stand here with Sophie and I'm going to believe her. Look, here's what I said to Annie the other day. And she said the same thing. I almost wish this was a hoax, because wouldn't that be better for Sophie in the end that she didn't actually get abused? I almost wish it was, and that I'm totally wrong in this whole thing. Like, I wish, but my gut tells me it's not true, right? And so in the end, I'm just going to believe her. And in the end, if you find out that Michael is this evil genius that has made this thing because he knew in the end that GoFundMe will be $250,000 and that he'd get his kids and he'd hate on his wife and do all this stuff and become famous because of it. If in the end that's what happens, I'll come out and I'll say, yeah, I got hoodwinked. And if another kid comes forward after this case, I'm not going to say, well, she must be being coached because Michael coached Sophie. I'm not going to do that either. I will always land right there. That is the safer place to be for everybody because a kid is involved. You guys need to get a new hobby. We're sitting there just immersing yourself in this and letting it boil your blood and letting me or Kay or Crystal Ball live in your head rent-free every single day. You are allowing people to manipulate your feelings and your anger and your disgust and your plights, and you're amplifying it for the whole world to see without proof. We all are. We're all guilty of this. And so just take up knitting, or maybe go play a sport or go to the gym. Do something you need an outlet, is what I'm saying. And I do too. I'm just as much to blame as all of you. That's what I'm saying here. So I hate to say a toe-to-so, but I effing a toe-to-so. This week we also did an interview with Robbie Starbuck from Twitter, from Grow Up Network, where we talked about cuties and the world of Hollywood, and some of the comments that we got from there, from one of my close buddies. He just said, this guy, F this guy. And I was like, tell me how you really feel. And, I listened to Brent, and my buddy Brent said, look, it's just, if you just think that Democrats are the only ones to blame for this type of this type of thing, you're effing wrong. And again, I want to reiterate, that's not what we said in the video. I don't think the Democrats are the only people who take part in child exploitation at all. I don't think that's the case. Okay. The point that was being made there, and I still have yet to hear a rebuttal of it, is that the only people standing up for this, who are allowing it onto their platforms and who are saying it's okay, are liberal thinkers, is what I'm saying. And I have not yet seen a conservative thinker or anybody out there who has defended this movie. That was the point. Not that every Democrat now is, a map. It's not what we were saying. And he made a good point. Brent said, look, who are the main proponents for these toddlers and tiaras and these kids pageants? Republicans. Am I wrong? I don't know. I could be. So we don't have that shit here in Canada. We don't let that fly. That would never fly here. And if it does, it's very rare and you don't see it. It's definitely not celebrated and it's definitely not in the public. I'm going to land here just so I can clarify this whole thing. No matter what partisan line you land on, there's going to be someone from every walk of life who takes advantage of children. And the real answer here is that we have to stop it altogether. All of it. No matter what partisan line you land on. But what Robbie was saying, and it was true, and if someone can come out with me, the point still stands. That point he made was that nobody standing up for this movie is a conservative. Look, the head of Netflix, who still has it on Netflix, by the way, cancel your Netflix, he is a very big Democrat. Twitter, Democrat. All these guys are Democrats. It cannot be argued, is all I'm saying. That these people allow these things on their platform, but if you have the wrong political ideology, you're not allowed on their platform. That's all I'm saying. Because I sit center. I really do. I really think a lot on the left and right. I actually had a conversation with someone the other day. I thought, as Christians, Democrats, as Christians who are Republican, who think that Republican's the only way you can be, here's the argument to be made. That actually the Christian ideology lands more in the camp of Democrats than it does in Republicans. Because think about this for a second. Liberals want full open borders. For good or for bad, right? They want, hey, our country is here for you. Come on in, take part in anything you want, for good or bad. Believe it or not, or think that it's good or don't think it's not. But that's more of a Jesus trait than closing off borders and not allowing people in to partake and to clothe the naked, feed the hungry. He did say that. So I do believe that Jesus would be for open borders. I'm not saying I am. I'm just saying that there's nuance to it. But so that's one Democratic feature that would be more Christian than Republican. Another one would be forgiveness. So everybody says, you want to let criminals out and do this stuff, and I don't know how I feel about that because that gets a little bit crazy on earth. There's things that need to be, there's laws you have to follow, and the Bible talks about that too. But Democrats believe on the whole that if you reform the justice system and you reform the incarceration system to actually reform people, that's a better thing, right? To actually teach people to be better, to forgive and to move on. That's more of a Jesus trait. I don't think Jesus would be here for the death penalty. Like, Jesus would land on the side of the laws of the land for sure, but I don't think he would forgive ultimately. We know that. So I'm just saying there's a couple of points to be made that Republicans are like, well, I'm a Christian, so I have to be a Republican. That's not true at all. There's a lot of Christian Democrats. So, and some of those comments you guys made in the cutie thing was just like, you're wrong, you're right. And there was a lot of great adult conversations going on in there. And I'm going to go back to this whole drama thing for a second. If you guys are going to leave comments on my channel, I'm happy to have a debate or whatever. But if you're going to leave negative comments about like how I'm a coward and all this stuff and you're deleting comments, look, leave adult comments and I will leave it up and then I will rebut and I will say things and I'll try to stand on it or I'll say, hey, good point. But if you come on my channel acting like a child, you're going to be deleted. You don't get to use my platform for your own selfish, childish gains. Okay. So just be an adult on this side. You can, on the T channels, do whatever you want. Be a child. Be in scream and stamp your feet and all that stuff. Go for it. I'm not going to tell you what to do over there. But when you come onto this platform and you don't want to be an adult, you don't get to partake. Sorry. So I don't apologize for that, and I never will. So when you're leaving comments about cuties or this Sophie case and stuff like that, try to be an adult because that makes you look better. If you come out crazy screaming at the sky because you have all this proof that you don't have and screaming about what you think or what you perceive, you look dumb. I'm actually helping you. You're welcome. Calm yourself. Go eat some raisins. So, church update. I actually recorded the episode where I brought the recording in and I went through the recording with you, not yet, but the video is there and it's now off to the lawyer to look at. It is over an hour and 30 minutes long, so that is going to be very costly for me to have a lawyer look at that. If he watches that video twice, that's almost $1,000. Needless to say, there's going to be a conversation to have after that and all that stuff. So I want to just reiterate my thanks and appreciation for you guys supporting me on my GoFundMe for my legal fees for that, because yes, that is tapped, but for good reason. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm safe, that if they do come at me with a frivolous slap lawsuit, that I'm ready to say, hey, spoke to a lawyer. This is what they said. So yeah, you can sue me all you want, but I'm going to ignore it. Right. And once that video comes out and nothing else happens from there, then I'm done with it. But if they come out with a statement or people want to, do something, then I might continue to talk about it just because I want to see it to its end. If they come out and apologize and do what I'm asking them to do, I might just take it all down, to be honest with you. So we'll see, though. We'll see. I just want to make sure that reform happens, that change happens, and especially inside that church, so that the next people don't get hurt. I'm still very nervous about that episode, to be honest with you, just because, like, there's a lot riding on that, okay? Like, this church has unlimited funds to lawyers, is what I'm saying. So, in the end, it's really about just seeing things happen for the better for the future of the people who are going to work there. Because that pastor's older than the hills, and he's going to be gone soon anyway. So let's hope that the people coming in can make changes. Even if they're not going to make changes now, they might see all this stuff and say, when I come in, I'm going to make changes. Hey, let's avoid this thing again. Let's avoid having a guy do a YouTube channel about how crazy we are. How about that? You know what I'm saying? So I'm very excited about that, but I'm also very nervous, and I can't wait for you to see it and hear with your own ears and how many times I want you to get a pad of paper out and write how many times you say WTF. That's what I want you to say. All right, guys, let's get into some fun. Let's have some fun. Would you rather's my favorite time of the day. Okay, some of these are so funny. I just read them. I don't know which ones I'm going to tell you, but would you rather have relations with an alien or a mermaid? I mean, it just depends, right? If you look at mermaids are hot, but I don't know the anatomy. I don't know how that all works. But I'm going to go with mermaid because all the aliens in Hollywood at this point, none of them are like, yeah, unless pointed out to a movie. So I'm going to select mermaid on that one and see how many people said that. I'm going to vote. Yeah, 122 over 71 say mermaid. I get it. Aliens are creepy. Oh, here's a good one. Would you rather be able to control minds or read minds? Control. No, everybody's saying control. Nobody wants to know what people are thinking. You ever seen that movie with what's his face and the thing and the girl and he reads minds and what women want? It's an excellent movie, by the way. And Helen Hunt, I had a massive crush on Helen Hunt because of that movie. She's so different. Like when she was in that show in the 90s or whatever, she was just like, eh. And then actually, if you see Helen Hunt come out in her full Helen Hunt, if you're listening, hi. I would definitely be able to, I would way more prefer to control minds. You could do so much. You can make so much money on that. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, it's not even a thing. Here's a conundrum. You are in an art museum when a blind man deliberately starts a fire. He becomes separated from his guide dog and they both wander among the flames, lost and confused. Do you deliberately set the fire? You face this decision. Save the dog, save the arsonist, or save the artwork. Come on, everybody. We know what's going to happen here. We're saving the dog. It's the dog. I'm pressing it. Yeah. Overwhelming majority save the dog because it's deliberately, right? The guy set the fire deliberately. He did it on purpose. The dog didn't do anything wrong. The artwork is whatever it is. There's a dog's life at stake here. It's the dog. Who wouldn't save the dog? So that's great. Love those. Let me know your answers below. Tell me what you think. So one thing I want to do today is a special day because of this whole new change of tact that I'm having. I'm not going to get into politics anymore. I'm not going to get into tea and drama. Maybe the Arnold Palmer stuff. I'm not going to be drama baited. I'm not going to step into that world anymore. It is a negative world when I think that people have come to this channel to hear, even if you're hearing some of the negative stuff I'm talking about, like the Micah Stauffer situation, you're here to hear the commentary on it. You're here to hear my reaction and my passion about that. And I'm going to stick to that. And I'm going to do more fun stuff and I do that. Let's just be real here. Hear this song that my wife is going to sing to you guys. And let's turn over a new leaf. And let's not have to do any more Totosos. I don't want to have to do any more Totosos to myself. It's just, I want to be a happy person. I want to just be wake up and be like, I can't wait to talk to you guys about cool stuff today. And not like, oh, I have to talk about this thing because people are calling me, bald, fat guy who can't play guitar and sing. Because they're right. I'm bald, fat, and I can't sing. But I do my best for you because I think that's what you come here for. And I hope that it's helping you and making your life a little better. So today's thing, instead of me saying I hope for you, my wife is singing this for you guys. And watch me fangirl.
You and I must make a pact. We must bring salvation back. Woo! Where there is love, I'll be there.
Right?
I'll reach out my hand to you. I'll have faith in all you do. Just call my name
Jazz hands.
Let me fill your heart with joy and laughter. Togetherness is all I'm after. Whenever you need me, I'll be there. I'll be there to protect you. With an unselfish love, I'll respect you. Just call my name and I'll be there.
Come on, everybody.
I'll be there.
Say it.
I'll be there. Just call my name and I'll be there.
See? How much better was that for you? Here's the thing I love about my wife the most. That's like 3 takes. Like, in full takes. So we did it once, did it twice, and then she just did the whole thing. I wish I could sing like that. I wish I could just, like, 1 take and you're just good. She just hits it. And so that song is dedicated to all you there. Let's be friends again. Like, let's just lift each other up. Do what we can to rise above it all, go over top of it, and forget all the people behind us who are chachi and drama and who care nothing about anything but themselves and being right and all these things. To what end? Be like, you were right on the internet. Here's a trophy. No one knows who you are. And if I'm right, then I'm better than you. No, just kidding. You know what makes people like you more is when you uplift others around you and you do really good things for others around you. You know what? I might have been distracted a little bit there, but I still felt like I was trying to do something good. But at the same time, I'm not perfect, and I will try to do better because you guys are my therapy. I love hanging out with you. Full Lid Fridays are a big deal. I think just recapping on everything that's going on is awesome. I got some cool stuff coming up. Very cool stuff. I've got an interview with somebody from Micah's past. Woo, coming up soon. You're going to love that one. So anyway, stay tuned. Like or subscribe, hit the little bell or don't. I don't care. You know you're my therapy. I love you very much. I hope you have a great day. What day is Friday? It's Friday. Guys, it's Friday. Go out. Be safe with the mask. Have some fun. Eat some dinner. Maybe go for a walk in the nice park somewhere. It's fall is coming. Go enjoy nice things. Just forget the world. Let it all fall on behind you, beside you. Let all the garbage just kind of fall away, even for a day, just one day. Turn your phone off. Turn YouTube off. Get away from the T channels just for one day and go do something awesome for yourself or for your family or for those around you that need to see you again. You've been locked in your basement. You need some sunshine. You've been here you're here trying to disprove everybody with no proof. You need to get outside, and get some sunshine and relax because you're worth it no matter what you believe. You're an awesome person. Everybody's passionate about something, so I appreciate that. Whew. Have a great day, everybody. I will see you tomorrow for, what's tomorrow? Saturday night, where I play guitar badly and sing badly for you. Fireside chill vibes. It's going to be a really good one, and I'm very excited to have you there. I might even do that thing where I might just open it up, the links, and have you guys come on and sing with me. How much fun would that be? We'll see. We'll see you tomorrow.